So, for my research paper, I decided to write my play on August Wilson's play entitled The Piano Lesson. This is one of his many plays in this series, or his series better known as the Pittsburgh Cycle. The reason for me choosing to write my paper on this play and completing the video response is to reflect and explain how the paper is relevant to both myself and theater, and why you all should care about August Wilson and this play. August Wilson wrote this play during the 90s, and because of how compelling the story was, it actually won a few awards. Getting into the story of this play, it covers areas of knowing where you want to go as opposed to knowing where you come from. How we see this idea of knowing your past in comparison to your future is through the story's main characters, Bernice and Winning Boy. These two siblings share a history, with the family item being a piano that also has engravements in it showcasing like their heritage and their past. These two siblings share a history with the family piano, as said before, and we're also given a backstory of the family and what it means to them in knowing your history as opposed to wanting to make a better future for yourself. After reading this play, in my research for the paper, I found sources that talk about African American history, the current economic and financial situation of African Americans, and how much of black history has been obscured or erased, and how this can transpire and trickle down into families of people of color as well. Now, with that all being said, although heritage is important, August Wilson explains the importance of progression and growth as well. He shows this through Bernice's brother Winnie Boy and him wanting to make a better life for himself. The piano lesson itself is important to theater because it is one of the many examples of black theater. Historically, African American plays and playwrights didn't really take off till a specific point in time. That specific point in time being the Harlem Renaissance. The Harlem Renaissance was a period in time when there was a breakthrough in cultural and artistic and many other ways of life in which people of color really came onto the scene. But the Harlem Renaissance is mostly known for like art, dancing, and theater and all that kind of stuff. A pivotal moment within the Renaissance for people of color was the American Negro Theater, or A&T. A&T was important for the span it was around because it broke ground for being unapologetic for the pieces of work that were performed. An example of another playwright was Lorraine Hansberry, who wrote a well-known play you all know as A Raisin in the Sun. In this story, in particular, A Raisin in the Sun, in that story we see African Americans living under racial segregation. This being an example and written at a different time as opposed to the piano lesson. The piano lesson and A Raisin in the Sun are both relevant to the theater because of their relevancy to African American history. That is why, in this case in particular, August Wilson and this play are important because of their deep-rootedness to people of color and being able to express that. With that being said, that is the importance of the piano lesson to theater and why you should also read up on this playwright and this play.